Hi all, Kyber1 here, and today we are doing campaign setting review number 5, Flash Gordon the role-playing game, using the Savage World system, or as a lot of people like to call it, the Savage World of Flash Gordon. Um, so this is Flash Gordon 1, the role-playing game. However, I am not sure if there were any follow-up books to this. I hope there were. Like, I have my head in very many bags of different role playing games, so I don't always catch everything. And I realize this is a little late. This book is 3 years old now, but I've had this for a bit. He'll save every one of us on the rogue planet of Mongo. A brutal and sadistic tyrant named Ming the Merciless rules from his royal palace at the heart of Mingo City, secretly defying the Emperor's reign of terror, and the freemen revolutionaries banded together from a number of kingdoms around the globe, from the winged hawkmen of Sky City to the ice giants of Naquak, from the water-breathing Corleans to the tree-dwelling Arborians, and from the nomadic lionmen to the dwarves of the magnetic mountains. Many who have suffered under the Dragorian fist of Emperor Ming have united under their own standard to see that the despot is deposed, and freedom for all becomes the law of the land. Inspiring this growing rebellion, there are 3 aliens from Earth. Now that's important. It understands that the Earthlings are the aliens. Dr. Hans Zarkov, Dale Arden, and Flash Gordon, the man whose face emboldens all who wish to live on a world free of Ming. So, Dale is a woman, and this is the first instance where I've ever heard of a woman named Dale, and that to me is interesting. Okay, so the Savage World of Flash Gordon core rulebook contains updates to the Savage World's core system, new rules for powers, races, edges, and hindrances, gear, rocket ships, and some of the most unique setting rules we've ever designed. It also includes a gazetteer of the fantastic world of Mongo, a plot point campaign, savage tales, and a host of heroes, villains, and horrific beasts for the game master's eyes only. So, right now, I'm just going to let you know, they cover the movie in this in brief, but it has a heavy focus on the source material. So, most people were exposed to Flash because of the movie. And the movie did not do the source material justice. It was interesting and let people know about it. But there's so much to this world. And the unique design, the artistic style of the early comics set Flash Gordon apart. And much of what Flash Gordon created, others have heavily borrowed from, including Star Wars. Star Wars is very derivative. Like, that's something people need to understand. However, they changed it up just enough to stand on its own. And I just got finished watching The Mandalorian Season 2. This is unrelated to this, but so far, I really like The Mandalorian, and that was awesome. Okay, so let's talk about this. So there's not a base 10 system on Mongo. It uses a base 8 system to determine time and everything like that. But for the sake of simplicity, it's recommended that the game master sticks to our standard Earth time for healing and stuff. So basically, if you would heal from a wound in 1 hour Earth time, the way Mongo works is 1 hour Earth time healing contributes to 1 hour healing time there on Earth. But that's not set in stone for everything involving time. Technology, you have ray guns, rockets, and robots. Um, it's just beautiful. You have a host of archetypes to choose from: bounty hunter, citizen, criminal, diplomat, earthling, engineer, entertainer, escaped slave, explorer, guardsman, huntsman, medic. Mercenary, merchant, miner, mongomancer, mongotech, noble, officer, pilot, pirate, powerman, priest, scion, rebel, royal forester, sailor, scientist, soldier, spy, or tribesman. There's a lot of different archetypes to go through, and like it goes over how they communicate, and just there's a lot to this book. And I'll post a link to the YouTube videos for the Flash Gordon cartoon that was made in the 70s. Because honestly, it was a very fantastic and well done translation. And we're talking about a property that came about in the late 20s, early 30s. Not exactly sure which time span, but racism and sexism back then was common, and they talk about that idea. But the interesting thing about Flash Gordon is he's a lot like John Carter, where the standards of Earth at the time, like, they're just completely nope, nope. We need to do something better for everybody, and that mentality created like the source for a lot of heroic disposition. And Flash Gordon is ultimately a self-made man. He's an adventurer. He plays polo, okay? He's not the New York Jets or whatever quarterback. New York Giants. He plays polo. I mean, he's obviously upper elite, but he has no problems getting his hands dirty. And I'm not sure how much that kind of influenced Batman, if at all. Because Batman was derived from Zorro, but there's this classical idea of what it means to be a hero, and it's more than just putting on a suit, and that's really what modern heroes have gotten away from. Like, a hero shouldn't be forcing an ideology. Promoting goodness and freedom and equality, and like equality not so much as forced equality or laws to ensure people, but equality of opportunity. And equality of opportunity is what Flash Gordon was about. and under the rule of Ming the Merciless, you didn't have that. And there's even a race generator if you want to play your own special race. And there's positive and negatives to it. Yeah, see. So I think that Savage Worlds has gone in the right direction, more so than some other role-playing games in this manner, because not everybody is great at everything. And sometimes we have inherent limits. And to me, that means you're defying the odds. And that's what original Dungeons and Dragons was. You weren't some superpowered hero until you were like 5th level, essentially. Because everything was about survival. You were basic. There's plenty in Flash Gordon that inspired many people. I mean, look at that. There was violence. There was technology. I mean, look at this beautiful art. That's insane. So you have a different type of currency. You have different animals. You have different equipment. The optoscope. Vision penalties for notice rolls are halved when using an optoscope, but they are only useful when there is sufficient light, dim or better. Like, it's a basic ruling that makes sense. Everybody knows what dim light is. Mundane clothing, food and drink, adventure clothing. Like, it's important that people get out of their plate mail every now and then. That there's not plate mail in this per se, but the fact that there's a difference between mundane clothing and adventuring clothing, it would be like you wearing medical scrubs to a business meeting that has nothing to do with the medical field, but because you just got off work if you're a doctor or something. Drugs and medicinal equipment. Medical equipment. Yeah, why am I stumbling? So you have sleep guns. Yes, sleep guns. Like, you guys are gonna love the cartoon. I have a very strong feeling that you will love the cartoon. And the reason why I say that is because the Flash Gordon cartoon has an arcing story. It's not one and done episodes, but it's got this unique place in historical animation, and it pulled so much from the source material and was really incredibly animated. It gives you this otherworldly vibe entirely. Look at that art. And they try to remain true to the art of the original source material in the cartoon. And unfortunately, I didn't grow up with Flash Gordon. This has rocket sleds. Like, just look at all this cool stuff you get. Okay? Look at that. Okay. Every single image from the Flash Gordon original material and whatever was added is consistently thematic. Like, there's nothing about it that you would ever mistake for mundane. Like, We wouldn't see these things every day, but Flash Gordon, he's a bit different. Now, this is what I thought was bizarre. Does this look familiar? Yeah, you see that suit? Does that look like anybody we know? Uh, so I always laugh when I see this picture. Okay, and then like there's setting rules, and the skill changes are important, and then new states, combat options. Where is it? Okay, so in Flash Gordon, there's blood and guts, born a hero, critical failure, fanatics, heroes and villains never die, high adventure. Okay, now let's talk about new setting rules. Cliffhanger, so things can be dropped in an instant. Conviction, creative combat, fast healing, knockout blow, planetary romance, unarmored hero, wound cap, vehicular combat. So what really made Flash Gordon interesting was the cliffhangers were so often used to keep people coming back. And there's different powers of Mongo. It's just, there was so much innovation in this one comic strip, and a bit of it was similar to John Carter of Mars in that it was very avant-garde, and it just, there's so many cool abilities. Seriously, guys, watch the cartoon. And it's a little slow to get into, but by episode 3, I was kind of hooked. And the continuity, I guess, nostalgia feeling. Okay, so here's the world, and this is something that I utterly love about Flash Gordon. When they go to different environments, it's as different as every planet in Star Wars, but it's all in the same world. And to me, that is far more consistent. And look at this. There's so much potential for adventure in the world of Mongo. The alien nature of the difference in time, and how the entire world is ran by a despot, and how just utterly advanced this world is at the time, but so much of it is held back by the fact you have a tyrannical leader. And I mean, look at that. That's crazy. I have fallen in love with this series from what I've seen and been able to gather. There's so many different facets to Flash Gordon. And I am not going to spoil this section. there are creatures. There's some comic strips in here. There's some really good stuff. But this video has been 20 minutes. So, just to review, page 13, the base 8 system involving the way numbers are utilized and the time system. Page 14 has technology. Pages 17 through 22, your archetypes. Your races are on pages 26 to 32. Your race generator is on page 33 to 36. Page 45 discusses currency. Page 72 to 79 discusses the rules that fit the setting of the Savage World of Flash Gordon. And page 83 to 85 discusses the revised power system. This is highly recommended because reading through this has informed my beliefs on how games are ran. And the fact that it's basically a very shifting tone for what Savage Worlds would later do in its current form, because this came out when they were in the middle of writing the new edition, and then they realized how many changes were made to what Savage Worlds was that they needed to include. And so there were a bunch of settings released with specific rules, but Flash Gordon added so many and changed so much that it's pretty much like what Pathfinder was first edition compared to third edition D&D. The first Wizards of the Coast interpretation of Dungeons and Dragons. And by that, I mean, not enough was changed in 3.5 to really quantify the level of changes that this brings. Like, this is essentially the start of Pathfinder comparatively to where Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition was. And as many of us know, many people went towards Pathfinder over 4th edition D&D because it was far more familiar. This is highly recommended. If you want adventure, if you want the bizarre, if you want a very metal feeling, but like laced with psychedelic rock, it just goes beyond what I was expecting from a role-playing game. I have been pleasantly surprised. I love it. And honestly, this is one of the few role-playing game books, for me personally, that has hit the nail on the head. It is what it says it is, and there is a little apologizing in there because it's a product of its time, but it's true to the source, and that's the important part. But being a product of its time means that Flash Gordon was a hero for the everyman. Like, he didn't put his values to establish himself as a ruling figure. He wanted other people to experience the freedom he has experienced. And to me, that's what makes Flash Gordon a hero. That's what makes the Flash Gordon role-playing game work. Alright, Kyburn 1 out.